So today we are welcoming Emily Wallace-Jackson as our speaker. Emily is the Executive Director of the Hopkins Education Foundation, a nonprofit that kickstarts learning opportunities for students in the Hopkins Public Schools. She served on the HEF Board of Directors from 2014 through 2019 and was president of the board during that time. She also worked as the Executive Director of the Seven Dreams Education Foundation that supports Robbinsdale Area Schools. Emily and her husband raised their 3 children in Hopkins Schools. She has been a passionate advocate for Hopkins Schools and public education, serving as a member and co-chair of the Hopkins Legislative Action Coalition. I said that pretty fast because I know what it means, but not everybody else knows what that means. Hopkins Legislative Action Coalition. Emily has also served as a commissioner on 3 City of Hopkins commissions, the Human Rights Commission, Charter Commission, and Zoning and Planning Commission. Earlier in her career, Emily worked as an attorney and also volunteered as a pro bono attorney for clients at the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota. So please help me welcome Emily Wallace-Jackson.
Thank you, Betsy. I've known Betsy for 15 plus years, which is amazing. So we were both have been active in the Hopkins schools in lots of different ways. So when she started on the school board many moons ago, we first crossed paths, and as you know, she just does wonderful things in the community. So I appreciate being here, and I know that all of you and all of the Rotaries really give back and make a huge difference in our communities locally and internationally. I actually have met Jamie Belden at that nonprofit because I used to work for and I'm currently on the board of another nonprofit called Project Minnesota Leon that also works as a sister state with Nicaragua and does community development work there. So nice to hear about that connection you have. Also, Elif Ozturk, who you gave the Rotary Scholarship to, is an amazing student at Hopkins, and I'm glad you're supporting her on her journey to Columbia University. And her mom, Lon, serves on our board of directors at Hopkins Education Foundation. So Hopkins Education Foundation, or HEF as we call it, works with the Hopkins Schools, and we are a nonprofit, a 501c3, and our mission is to support student learning, support the community. Our school district has about 50% of students who are low income. Also about 50% are students of color, many immigrants in the school district. It's a fabulous district. My 3 kids really benefited from being in a very diverse community and received a great education that set them up for success in their lives. So I'm always grateful to what the Hopkins Schools does, and it takes a village, and it really takes everybody in the community to support our public schools. We certainly get a good amount of funding, and more last year for public schools, but there are more and more needs and more that schools are being asked to do to really provide wraparound services and support our students in every aspect of their lives, especially those who are low income. So I'm really passionate about public education and supporting our students. This is a list of our board of directors, including Betsy Anderson, which I'm thankful she's on our board and will be joining our executive committee soon, going into next year, and helping be even more of a leader. Betsy kind of gave you my bio, and so I've been involved in Hopkins Schools for many years, and then served for 4 years in Robbinsdale Schools as the head of their education foundation, and started in my position as executive director in Hopkins this last summer. So it's been a little under a year, and love being back in the school district where I know a lot of people and raise my kids, and really believe in the leaders. I think Superintendent Rhoda Mary Perry Reed and all the administrators, they're amazing people, really good leaders, and there's always challenges in public schools, and I think they really try their best with limited resources. So we raise money from the community by certainly from donations or end of the year donations and things like that, but also from events. And I'll talk in a minute about just what our key 3 signature events are each year. Our main way of giving back to the community are through grants, which is the main way, to our own teachers. So our teachers and staff apply for a grant to the foundation, and they have innovative, creative ideas about how to engage kids and how to make learning more fun and different hands-on projects. And so that's one big bucket. The other way is through one district-wide. So we try to create one big project per year with our school district leaders to figure out what is something we can do that will make a big impact for all students. We raise the money for that at our Royal Bash Gala event. This year it'll be March 1st. And I'll tell you more about what that is, what that project was last year. These are our 3 events, and you're all invited and welcome, and it's for anybody in the community. And we have great attendance at our events, a lot of support. And as you know, I think Golden Valley, the southern half of Golden Valley, is in the Hopkins School District, and I know well that the northern half is in the Robbinsdale District. Love them both. And of course, Meadowbrook Elementary School, where Betsy's kids go, is here. And so Rock and Royal is an outdoor block party. It'll be September 7th. It's from 6 to 10. There's music and food, and about 400 or more people come to that event. It's parents, adults, community members there to support our school district. The Royal Bash is a big gala event. It'll be at the Metropolitan Ballroom again in Golden Valley. It was there last year, and we'll have it there again March 1st. And so that's, a whole big fancy event and food and auctions. And as I said, at that event, we always raise money for one large project, usually giving about $75,000 for that project to the school district. And in the spring, there's a Royal Family Fun Day. We just had it a few weeks ago. We had 750 kids and parents there, and so that's pretty awesome. And that's just really a community builder. I mean, we're here certainly to raise money for resources for our students, but it's also about bringing the community and all of our kids and families together. A lot of times families are in their silos with whichever school their kid goes to, which makes sense. But everyone ends up at the Hopkins High School, and so just having opportunities for everybody to mingle is important. We've given actually $3.7 million now in grants and other funding to the school district over our history. We will have our 30th anniversary of the foundation at the Royal Bash on March 1st. We'll be celebrating 30 years, and this just shows all the schools in the district and how much we've given to each school over the years. So it's been $300,000 or $400,000. The high school we've given about $800,000 or $900,000 over that history. So at this year's Royal Bash, we had a huge project that we collaborated with district leaders to create, and it was for computer science, coding, and AI, and that is for pre-K through high school students. It'll be rolled out next year. And a lot of this is, computers and knowing how to code or understanding how that technology works is really a foundational skill. I mean, it's like literacy, it's digital literacy for our students who are growing up in this whole new world. And AI, as we all know, is coming fast and furious. And so this is about teaching students, this is something that's happening in our society. How do we understand how to use the tool in an ethical way, a moral way? There are a lot of positives that educators see in AI, but also putting on those guardrails and figuring out how to use it well. And so I'm really excited about this. We were able to raise $75,000 and just awarded the school district that amount of money. So they will use that next year. That will buy hands-on, like robots. For little kids, it's not going to be computerized, but kind of hands-on tools that they use. They're these things called B-bots, and it's not computer run, but they're sort of using the basics of understanding coding, even in kindergarten and in pre-K. So it's those foundational skills. And then there will be coding robots that they use at all levels. At the middle school level, as part of their International Baccalaureate programming, there's a capstone project that they do in 8th grade that's about community service and giving back. And part of what they can do is incorporate either computer science technology and tools into whatever project they're doing. And the school district will also invite in experts in the field, people who do computer science as a career and working with kids. And at the high school, there will be internships and mentoring and different opportunities to have people with computer science background work with our students. So we're really excited about that. At the previous year's Royal Bash, we raised money for a 3-part project for the district, and one had to do with literacy, and you've maybe read about letters and the new science of reading, and there's new legislation in Minnesota about how to teach reading using kind of a little more phonics. So we provided some money for new books and materials for that kind of learning. But the other big part was the CNA lab in our high school. It's amazing. It's a state-of-the-art hospital room. CNA stands for Certified Nursing Assistant. And so our students in high school can receive a certification from the state to be a certified nursing assistant. You only have to be 16 once you have the certification, and they can start working and help support their families or earn money in high school. They can be ready when they graduate to go into the field and start working. It also helps people who are interested in going to college and maybe pursuing, whatever healthcare, nursing, or being a doctor, just get that hands-on experience. So we had some people come from Methodist Hospital to come check out this lab in high school, and they were amazed. It was like what they've seen, similar to what an actual hospital room looks like. These are mannequins. They have all the tools. The kids get to must go to a nursing home to practice their skills and get this certification. So we gave $19,000 for that project. This current school year that's about to end in a few days, we awarded $140,000 for grants for teachers of all kinds. So it covers the gamut from STEM to mental health, special education, literacy, and so forth. And I'll share a little more about that. Our spring grants are listed there. I'll highlight a few, but a wide range. So we usually grant about 23 in the fall and 23 in the spring every year. This one we really liked, called History by Shakespeare at West Middle School, for about $3,600. And so this teacher was taking an English classroom to see Henry V at Guthrie, and then also the kids were doing different reflections based on what they've been reading about Shakespeare and creating a bound book to keep for themselves. Cultural holiday celebrations. This was celebrating Spanish, Latino holidays. I think they were having a mariachi band come in, so sometimes, they'll use the money to have those kind of outside groups come in. Glen Lake Community Reads. This is a little free library project, and we really like this. The kids are going to build and help put up 11 free little libraries around the Glen Lake neighborhoods. They got families who live in that area to agree to put a little free library in their yard. They had noticed and were upset by the fact that most little free libraries apparently have adult books and very few have kid books, and they wanted some kid books there. So they're going to be collecting books, they're going to maintain them and put the books in there. They're also recording a story that they write, so it will be anonymous. It'll just be voice recorded, and you can hold up your phone to a QR code and hear a story that a Glen Lake student wrote. So we thought that was really creative, and they've started work on that already. Meadowbrook, there's Betsy on the right. We present these big checks to the teachers in the classrooms in front of the students, and they get really excited, and sometimes they think it's real money. Sometimes they've never heard of a check. They're used to, just everything online or credit cards or Venmo, but it's always interesting to see what they say. But this was for Kids and Company, the child care at Meadowbrook. There's a going to create a natural outdoor space that'll be for learning and playing and moving around and being part of the natural world. Create your own golf course at Meadowbrook as well. There's Betsy, and our board president's to the right, Brian Kresge. He's a Hormel executive. We have a great board of 24 people. And this is actually really about collaboration and teamwork and designing their own sort of mini golf course in the gym. So we're paying for the materials, but it's really about the process of designing and building. At North Middle School, the two teachers in the center there are science teachers, I think in 8th grade. So they are focused on solar energy, and they are going to use money to buy more 3D printers so that students can print models of solar arrays and solar panels to kind of think about how to design them and use them. They also have some real solar panels that they use that are small to use for lights and different things. So that was an interesting project. There's physical therapy items. We have a lot of special education students. We will be approaching 20% of our students next year receiving special ed, and that can be a wide range of services. But as you may know, it's mandated by the state and the federal government to provide services and tools for special ed students, and that's the first priority for a school district. They must spend the money needed. And given inflation and underfunding of public schools, they take the money from the general education fund, and they use it for special ed first, which is appropriate. I mean, the students need services to be able to learn. So we do fund quite a bit of special ed. This one was for physical items like little small wheelchairs or other equipment to support kids. And of course, kids grow. So this is one of the challenges. It's expensive for families. Sometimes they borrow things to use at home, and the schools just need a wide range of tools. Music class, the power of a prop. This music teacher at Tanglin Elementary was really creative, and just to really engage kids, she wanted to buy a lot of different tools like that kids can use things like, to shake maracas, or there were actually LED lit up drumsticks for drums, and then they turn the lights down, and when they're playing, you see all this flashing light, and just ways to get kids more interested in music and having fun with it. Social wellness, there's a lot of social emotional support that we give for kids and helping support teachers too. There's a farming program at Gatewood. Gatewood elementary school has an outdoor education learning focus. So the kids spend more time outside than at a lot of the other schools, and they have a little mini farm. There are goats that some of us are holding in this picture. Mm-hmm. They also have chickens and a garden. And so this was for some tools for kids in their farming work. This grant was written up quite a bit in the Sun Sailor and elsewhere for a new Royals mascot costume. The Hopkins Schools is Hopkins Royals. And Jim High Bison, who's the principal at Tanglin, really wanted to, he had noticed, as have many others, that our mascot costumes were ancient, old, falling apart, and terrible condition. And of course, it's a part of spirit and being, the mascots at games or parades. And he wanted to have both a lion and a lioness. So it's the lion is the mascot, and have a female representation. And when I presented this grant, there was a little girl who was so excited about this, and she said, yeah, half of us are girls, and we need a lioness. And they really liked that representation. The other cool part was we hired a young woman who had graduated a year ago from the Transitions Plus program that you may have heard about. It's Hopkins Schools, I think St. Louis Park Schools, and maybe one other, that they have a building where students with a lot of needs will attend, and they can attend until they're 21 to help them learn independent living skills. And so she was a graduate. She's in the picture there holding the check next to me with the kind of light blue shirt. And she has started a costume business and just graduated a year ago and has amazing skills, and she's going to sew the 2 new mascots costumes. So that'll be fun to see how that all turns out. She's working with the students and getting input about what the mascot should look like and kind of the design elements. So that's kind of what we do and how we give back to the school district. And, you know, like you, we're always looking for people to volunteer. I know it was interesting to hear Shep talk about all the ways you're doing different hands-on help with various tasks at different organizations. And we certainly need volunteers. And if you are interested in volunteering individually or as a group, we would welcome that. We have the 3 events that I mentioned, and so it could just be like maybe a few of you would come to the Royal Bash during that day and help set up, you know, the tables or set up a game, or maybe it's running a game at the event. The Royal Family Fun Day is an outdoor event with lots of games and things. So there's all those kinds of ways to help hands-on. We also do gratitude gifts for our teachers, and we just delivered a bunch of Breadsmith bread and a Boulevard gift card and a personalized note to thank our teachers. So each parent could order one of those, and then some of that money comes to the foundation to help pay for grants. But, you know, we actually gave 420 gifts out. So we receive a huge delivery of Breadsmith bread, and, you know, it has to be wrapped. And, you know, so these are simple things, but it takes us lots and lots of time. And so the more help we get, the better, and I really appreciate that. We also always need people to write grants. I mean, foundations can write a grant to another organization to help us get funding to turn around and give it back to our schools. So any help would be appreciated. And I wanted to mention the Awesome Fund, which is a really nice fund that a graduate of Hopkins Schools created for students to apply for grants. It's for student clubs. We just created a $100,000 endowment for this. This graduate, I think he only graduated 14 years ago, and he worked in technology in California and has made a good bit of money. And so we started with $50,000 for clubs, because that was he went to Hopkins Schools, and clubs were how he got really engaged and connected to the schools. And I think those activities, especially if you're not involved in sports or maybe band or orchestra, clubs are another great way for kids to feel that connection. So students fill out a simple grant application, and they just get about $1,000 for their club. But it's a significant amount for them, so we're excited about that, and it's been well received by our community. And so that's it. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Time for a question or two?
Hopkins used to be a real great leader in media literacy back in the 80s and 90s. Do you recollect that's probably morphed into something more modern, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, media literacy still seems germane, but does that ring a bell with you at all? Or?
Yeah, I mean, our librarians are called media specialists these days. That's what they're called, because of course information is consumed by students largely electronically. I mean, we have books in our libraries, certainly, and especially for younger students and all students, they need those physical books. But our media specialists are well versed in all kinds of, access to books and research online, and helping students also, know what is good information, what could be misinformation, and those are really important skills. And also that project I mentioned, the computer science, coding, and AI. I mean, AI is especially something that kids need to learn about, and media specialists are really critical in helping students learn those skills. So they're not just there to kind of help kids check out a book, like maybe happened more long ago. So I think it's evolved a lot over time, and I think teachers too, in all of their classes, this is just a really fundamental, basic tool, just how to research and how to access digital resources. So it's part of every class. I don't think there are specific classes anymore that, it's just very integrated.
All right. Well, thank you very much.